going to send some acid down this way and start bashing these guys into oblivion. There we go. Okay, let's just... Now, look how many enemies are in here, by the way. This is ridiculous. This is a special... Sometimes in the game, when you're exploring... remember, it's a roguelike, so everything is procedurally generated. Certain stages have set layouts, or there are seeds of the game which will determine, like, you have this layout for this seed or whatever. So there are certain fixed patterns that you might recognize, but they rotate. But within the randomly generated areas, there can be these areas that are called vaults, which are just specialized areas that are filled with enemies and they have treasure. And they come in a variety of types, but I think here that this crystal zone with these diagonal crisscrossing passageways is indeed some kind of a vault, because it's filled with just a ridiculous amount of enemies. It's not the entrance to Zot's realm. The depths, which is the sub-branch that we're on right now, has 5 levels, and on the bottom level, the 5th level, you will find the entrance to the realm of Zot, which is indeed guarded by a bunch of enemies, but this is not that. This is something else. And so it's fun. Let's see what we get. Let's kill this Quicksilver Dragon. And we luckily have a pretty reasonable choke point to fight these guys at. Now, I'm not super happy to see this Iron Giant here. He's shapeshifted. Iron Giants are annoying for a variety of reasons. They're extremely strong, but one of the things that they're famous for is that they can pick up pretty much any other enemy and throw them at you. So they can just pick up, like, for example, this Ice Dragon and throw an Ice Dragon at you and then do a bunch of damage to you, and you have an Ice Dragon adjacent. So there's something you want to kill. Now, it's a shapeshifter, so shapeshifters will change their form randomly and usually pretty rapidly. So that, in a few turns, that might not be an Iron Giant anymore. But anyway, something to think about. I'm going to keep using my Wand of Clouds just because it's so deadly right here. And then there we go. Yep, it already changed from being a Iron Giant into a Shadow Dragon. You can see here it's the Shadow Dragon shapeshifter. But now they're standing in freezing clouds. And there's this wizard below me. I need to kill him. He's dead. And let me send some more Wands of Acid over here. Perfect. Now, this icon in the upper right, I mentioned before, it means that these enemies have been corroded. When you get corroded, I don't know if it's exactly the same as the player effect of being corroded, but basically what this does is it saps their armor class and their slaying, so their accuracy and their 2-hit. I'm sorry, their damage and their accuracy. So it's reducing their armor and their damage when you corrode them, so it weakens them pretty significantly when that debuff is on them. It's great. The Shadow Dragon is a bummer because I don't have any resist negative energy, but we don't have to worry about it. It's gone. Now, one of the things that's really, really annoying about shapeshifted enemies is when they change forms, they usually get all or usually of their hit points back. So you got to kill them fast so they don't do that to you. I'm going to send some acid over here at this Deep Elf Demonologist and try to kill the Tengu Reaver in the process, which we did. And we still have a square in front of us that has Frozen Cloud. So if any enemy wants to step there, they will just take damage from that cloud. So it might dissuade them from doing that, but generally they'll walk into it if they have no other path to kill you. And so I'll use this to just shoot them with acid. Now, both the Ice Dragon and the Deep Troll Shaman that are standing here and here, instead of going into this square and taking damage, they'll just use ranged abilities because they have them. That's how the AI is working here. So that's totally fine. I'll stand here. Actually, I'll switch to my sling, and I'll just start firing my sling. Okay, now the dragon has decided to come through because I don't know why he cares about freezing clouds. He's a frost dragon, or he was an ice dragon until I killed him. Anyway, let's go ahead and put some acid over here. The demonologist is dead. As soon as this cloud dissipates, I will use my Wand of Clouds. The reason I'm not is because you cannot stack clouds. So if there are clouds in a square, you can't put new clouds there. All right, here we go. So let's just blast this side. Oh, that was really good. Look at this. So we're just raking in the experience here. And you can see that because our dodging skill was so low, and because we have a +1 aptitude at dodging, we are raising it up very, very, very quickly, given the fact that these are all difficult enemies and they're giving us a lot of experience, and that we hadn't raised dodging at all. So it's relatively easy to raise it. This column on your skill screen shows the proportional cost of raising. Like, for example, to raise my Maces and Flails skill, it takes 42.8 more times experience than it would to raise Long Blades, because Maces and Flails is at 20.8, but Long Blades is at 1.9. And the higher that you go with the skills, the more and more experience it takes. It is not a linear progression. It's not quite exponential, but it's definitely, it curves upward rapidly the higher you get. But anyway, dodging only takes 12.6. And we're already up to 15 evasion, as you can see. So that was a great catch by Panda to change to that. We're getting very, very good dividends. The returns on leveling up some of our other skills would be pretty diminishing at this point, given that they're so high. Now you'll see, again, I'm poisoned. I'm getting hit by a few enemies here with different abilities, but my health is going up because I have a vampiric branded weapon. That is just the power of the vampiric brand. Now, if I were to do extended, it would diminish very, very quickly in terms of its strength, because there would be increasingly less enemies in extended that I could actually drain hit points from. But here it's working great. You're glad it panned out? Oh my goodness. I love puns, so that is a grade A pun. It's pandaing out. Amazing, Panda. Bravo. A mixture of both, Austin. That's a great question. Mostly in this, as you've been watching me at this checkpoint, I've been using directional attacks. But if I feel confident, then I just use tab. I'm kind of a little scared of this area. I think I probably have cleared out the enemies, but I might not have. So when I'm feeling cautious, I use the directional buttons, and when I feel good, I tab. More often than not, I tab because I'm lazy and reckless, but tabbing can be a recipe for early death and late death. Here's an artifact helmet, which is just terrific. Oh, I'm full. All right, let me drop some stuff. Like, for example, Ring of Positive Energy, Protection from Fire, Resist Corrosion. Those can all be dropped and will be dropped. Brand Weapon I can also drop at the moment. And then let me get this. And let me read a scroll of Identify to see what this artifact helmet is all about. It's actually pretty good. It sucks that it's +0, which means that it gives me no real benefit to my armor class besides its base armor rating, but it does give me resist corrosion and resist negative energy. Now, if you look at my character sheet, I have no resist negative energy, and I have no resist corrosion. My helmet is +2 and is giving me intelligence +3, but honestly, I'm going to take the armor class hit to get the 2 resists that I'm missing, because that's a very big swing. If you're new to the game and you're not sure, it's true. It's a good point, Panda, that I could do the crypt easier with resist negative energy. I haven't done it. Now, one thing I want to iterate for people who might be new, this screen shows you your resistances here, and the little R means resist, and then the word after it tells you what you're resisting. And the elemental resists, well, that's not the right way to put it. Fire, cold, and resist negative energy can all go from 1 to 3. But the most important pip of all is the first one. The subsequent pips give you diminishing returns, but the first one is a huge jump. And so just getting that first pip of resist negative energy is amazing, and then resist electricity only goes up to 1 pip, but if you have it, it reduces incoming electrical damage by 50%. So it's very, very good, because electrical damage can get out of hand. So I have to wear this helmet. Long story short, we will. Oh, I'm sorry, but it's resist corrosion, not electricity. But it's the same thing. It gives you a 50% reduction on acid damage, and it gives you a 50% chance to not become corroded, so it's extremely good. That's a great question. We are at shield skill, I believe. Well, actually, I have to check. I have to see if it's different for a halfling. Oh, never mind. No, we aren't. 21 is the target for shield. 17 is the target for kite shields with most characters that are medium or regular sized, but because I'm small, I actually need the 21. So that's a great question, Austin. I am going to have to turn shields on pretty soon here to get the penalty removed, which is important, by the way. All right, let's just keep picking up the stuff that was in this vault. You know what, Austin? I think that's a really good point. So, resist corrosion can be all the difference in the world to you dying, because if you get corroded, like we talked about before, you lose armor class, you lose 2 hit, and you lose damage. So this character, which is turned into a mostly melee-focused tank, gets worse at everything when they're corroded. So I think you're right, it's better that we got resist corrosion. Now here's a artifact herbalist, which I won't use, but I want to check it out anyway because I like them. We can dump these now. We don't need them. And we don't need this anymore. We don't need this amulet of regeneration. Wow, there's an unidentified scroll. Let me check this out. So if I go to this screen and then I go to... This scroll, which is unidentified, can either be acquirement or silence. It would be really nice if it was acquirement. So we're going to read a scroll of identify and check it out. And it is! Look at that! Acquirement. Jackpot. So we're going to read it. And here's what we can get. We can get money, which meh. Gloves of dexterity, which would be okay, except our gloves are +5 slaying, so they're way better. And a staff of poison. We're not magic, so we don't need this, and we don't need this. So we're just going to take the money. It's not great, but it's good. All right. Yeah, it was a kind of a bummer. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. There is this ring that was on our list. And it's pretty good. Although, it's only really good for fire and magic resistance. Intelligence and dexterity and stealth I don't really care about with this character. So, we'll see. But that doesn't mean we don't find something later that's worth it. Probably not, Austin. That's a good point. And also not considering the fact that I would have to take off my... I gotta get away from the wall. These shock wasps, they do electrical damage, and it really showcases how hard electricity can hit you if you don't have resistance. Now, some things about electrical damage, if you're not familiar. Electrical damage is a range, so it can go from like doing, if you roll badly, it can do nothing, like 1 damage, and then, but it has a huge upper end. So it's variable, and you can get hit really hard. But also, if you're standing next to a wall, electrical damage, if it's in projectile form, will rebound off the wall and then hit you again if the trajectory is right. So if you're fighting something like this that can do electrical damage, get away from the wall so you don't get hit twice, because getting hit once is bad enough. Alright, there we go. Two-headed ogre? Whatever. Ogres are beautiful. We just opened them up with our evening star. Tremor stones. Here we go. Alright. Well, that cacao demon went down easier than I thought, and that's fantastic. Shadow imp. Get real. Tell you what, I'm really glad I have negative energy. Resistance of at least 1 pip. Alright, so that was the Depths 3. How about that for eventful? Goodness gracious. Our evasion is 16. I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I don't know if I can get it much higher than that, considering I'm wearing crystal plate. I might want to switch over to raising some other skills now. But the investment into evasion was definitely smart, because we raised our evasion from 9 to 16. And evasion, if you're curious, is just a straight roll at the beginning of when a evadable attack comes at your character, and if you evade, you take 0. Just like if you block with your shield, you take 0. So having a chance to take nothing is extremely powerful. Because, yikes, this is awful. Not really. My invocation skill I raised pretty well. I raised it to 14, and so I have a 1% fail on Corrupt and 2% on Enter the Abyss, so I'm pretty comfortable with those, but that's a good question too. Now this is a bad spot. I don't like where I'm at. So I'm going to send this one into the Abyss, and I'm going to actually send this one also into the Abyss, and then fight these other ones. It might seem like, I'm too afraid of those wasps, but 4 of them hitting me without resist electricity could just get out of control. And so I sent them to the Abyss. We just got level 26, and our evasion did go to 17. Amazing. We have 175 hit points. It did. Isn't that awesome? So let's see. And we're even drained. And it's still there. That's great. Alright, now we're not drained anymore. I'll let it keep going and see if we can get to 18. And if it gets around 20 cost, then I'll switch off. But this is cool. Oh, yay. Yeah. I still don't have resist poison. How about that, huh? It'd be nice. But to be honest, one of the things about this game that you have to get good at is just the fact that it doesn't always work out perfectly. You'll have holes with your character, and when you get better and better at the game, you start being able to survive more and more despite those holes. So resist poison. He petrified us. That stinks. I'm going to quaff a potion of cancellation to get rid of the petrify. I only have one cancellation left, so I don't want to use any more, but being petrified is a bummer with Tengu around you. And because I have one extra cancellation, I'll do it that way. There's a glowing cloak. Do I have a good cloak? I don't. Man, if this could be a cloak of, like, resist or poison resist or something. Let's see what this is. I'm going to identify this cloak. Hey, that's super good. +1 cloak of magic resistance. So if you'll notice, I only have 2 pips of magic resistance right now with this character out of a possible 5. Getting that third one is amazing. You saw just now, a moment ago, I got petrified. Getting petrified sucks. Getting any of those hexes, if they hit you, paralyze, slow, they can end your game. Cloud resistance. No, I don't want that. But yeah, they can end your game, and then you're in, you know, an absolute world of hurt. But all of those abilities, all of those hexes, trigger or react to your magic resistance. So if you have a higher magic resistance, the less likely you are to be affected by those hexes. So this is a huge increase for us. Again, our AC will go down, but that is an amazing... That is a trade I'll do every day of the week. Here we go. There's a big old artifact broadaxe. That's cool. Ooh, there's enchant armor. Great. So I can enchant armor my cloak of magic resistance and get the 1 point of armor class back. Terrific. All right, so there is a ziggurat.